Hello, I'm Mark Baer. You're watching the YourTown television program. My guest today, Teresa Sullivan from Alliance on Aging. Hello, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It's great to be here.
So we used to be, when AMP was at Garden Road, Alliance on Aging used to be on the top floor there. So I'm sure we passed each other many times during the days of yore. But for those who don't know, let's talk about the organization. What do you do?
Alliance on Aging is an organization that's been around since 1970 here in Monterey County, and we provide services for older adults, aka seniors. We're a nonprofit organization, and so all the services that we provide are at no cost to the client that's receiving the services.
Now you brought this card here.
I did.
Let's just give me a quick overview what's on there.
Okay, sure. So one of the services that we provide is our HICAP program. It's an acronym, and it stands for Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy. But basically what that means is it's Medicare counseling. So we help people understand the intricacies of Medicare, when they need to apply for Medicare, what the penalties are involved if they don't sign up for Medicare. We help them with their Part D prescription plans during the open enrollment period, and any other issues that they might have around Medicare billing.
Which is complicated.
Very complicated stuff. Complicated for really the most educated and most intelligent. So it's a pretty steep learning curve for most people as they approach Medicare. And even once they're into Medicare, there's just a whole lot that you need to learn and stay up to speed on. So we're there for them to answer any questions that they may have. We do regular seminars throughout the county for different groups at different senior venues to help people understand the basics. And then we have staff and volunteers that are there to do the one-on-one counseling and advising.
Where are you located now?
Well, we actually have two locations. We're located, our primary headquarters, if you will, are in Salinas at 247 Main Street in Old Town. And then we also have an office in Monterey at 280 Dickman Avenue. And then really most of our work, Mark, is done in senior venues throughout the county, lots of different venues. We also provide services in the home of seniors if they're not able to get to us.
But this isn't all about disabled seniors. A senior is what, 65 now, and a lot of people need this. Which I want to stress this point. You don't have to be enfeebled to go to Alliance on Aging.
Absolutely, I'm glad you made that point because it's 60 and above generally.
Yes.
But for those that are disabled and are on Medicare, it would be younger than that. But absolutely not. It's really crossed the socioeconomic spectrum in terms of who we're reaching. Yeah. People that are perfectly healthy, and then those that may need more financial help, more help with whatever their situation might be. So our ombudsman program, for example, that would be at the other end of the spectrum. HICAP's normally an entry program for us. That may be the first time someone comes to the Alliance on Aging. They may be 63 or 64. They may want to start getting information. And then ombudsmen are the advocates for people in the long-term care facilities. So those are the folks that are the most dependent, the most vulnerable. So the
most vulnerable tend to know about this. But
not necessarily. Not necessarily, Mark. And normally, typically when they call to the Ombudsman program, it's often the family members that are calling on their behalf. And they may have learned about it in a variety of ways. We have posters in all of the facilities that our volunteers and staff go into on a regular basis. And so family members may see that poster, and that's how they're made aware of the program. So, we work very hard at getting the word out about who we are and what we do, but it is amazing how many people don't really understand the scope of what we do, because we do a lot of we have 5 different programs and other activities.
And you've got to get it easy for people to ask for help, because something like Medicare, very complex to work your way through. So you don't, and people are sometimes too kind of proud or to want to reach out for help for these kind of situations, and you're there. You're easy for this.
We are there, and you're absolutely right. They are sometimes too proud, and but more and more, I think the word is getting to them that we're a resource to them. So we are hearing from more and more people a little earlier than we were in the past. But
proud's not the right word. What I'm trying to say is people feel that they should know how to do this.
Exactly.
They don't realize that you're there for them to reach out because this stuff is complicated.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And they'll come into our office with a pile of papers like that they've been receiving as they start becoming Medicare eligible, and they can't make heads or tails out of it. It's very confusing. And again, I don't care how educated, how intelligent you are, it is a challenge.
It's complicated. Let's go to the, speaking of complicated, let's go to the tax program and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so the tax program, we're just ramping up for tax. As we speak, our volunteers are training today, and that season, it actually begins February 1st, but we're doing phone calls and making appointments and training volunteers and all of that. So what we do is we assist the seniors with the preparation of their federal and state tax returns. We do almost 2,000 returns every season.
Wow.
And in addition to that, we help another 300 people just with questions or issues that they may have. So it's really, it's designed for the older adults, so 60 plus, although
60 is not old anymore.
It really is not.
Yeah,
really is not. People are shocked when I throw that number out.
Yeah.
We do serve those that are under 60 if for whatever reason it works for them and it works for us. But primarily low income, but that's a pretty generous income range that we're talking about. I would say primarily our folks are between about 30 and 40,000, some more. It's very expensive to live in Monterey County, so low income is relative and on the high end. So we basically prepare their return for them. There's no charge to it, so it can save a significant amount of money for these older adults. We see a lot of them year after year. We see a lot of widows that come in whose husbands have dealt with it for them in the past, frantic that they get it done, they fulfill their requirement, and of course, most often they'll get a refund. And that's huge. I mean, we generate we facilitate over $1 million in refunds back into the pockets of these older adults and then back into the community, because typically those dollars are spent on basic needs. They're not spent on trips to Bermuda. They are spent on, household expenses and things that the basic needs that they have.
So you're gearing up for February.
We're gearing up for February 1 is D-Day. We go all the way through April 15th. And a busy season, that's a lot of returns to do in that period of time. We have 20 plus volunteers that, work their tails off during the season. Then off season is when we tend to deal with those 300 folks that come to us with issues, problems, letters from the IRS. Again, some of these folks that have been ill during the season. We've got, again, widows that come in with 3 years of tax returns that they've not filed because husbands have done it and they're, again, frantic that it get done. So it's a wonderful group of volunteers. They are amazingly energetic, enthusiastic. But one of the challenges, Mark, is with this program, and really with all of them, is because we're volunteer-based, have always been volunteer-driven, we're more and more challenged with getting volunteers. Typically, they've been folks that are retired or semi-retired, so that has been a challenge as more people are staying in the workforce longer. Honestly, volunteering can be a luxury, and as people have family stresses going on and other financial issues, it becomes a little less viable for them to be able to do.
Let's just use the moment. So if somebody is interested to volunteer for an Alliance on Aging, who do they contact? How do they do it? And what range of commitment is there?
It is, if they're interested, they can contact our office at 655 or at 758-4011. Or they can contact our 655-1334 number. So both of those.
And online.
And online, they can go to our website. They can peruse through our programs, see what the different programs offer, what the volunteer opportunities are. And the commitment ranges anywhere from a couple of hours a week to 10 hours a week, again, depending on what the program is. Probably the most significant commitment, at least in the beginning, is the training. Every program requires training because every service that we provide is fairly complicated. And so it typically involves around 25 to 30 hours of initial training and then some field work after that.
What expertise are you looking for?
You know, it depends.
If any.
It depends. You know, we are to a degree in the tax program, for example, we do now want tax experience. We have found really for the best of the volunteer, for the clients, coming in with tax experience is important. In the other programs, it's really just an interest in older adults in that particular area in Medicare. You know, it's just somebody that's willing to climb that steep curve of learning that you have to learn about Medicare. In ombudsman, it's somebody that has the interest, the compassion, the willingness to go into facilities, to talk with, interact with the residents, the staff, and then be willing to advocate on their behalf. So it's a variety of different skills and backgrounds and that we require and that we get. I mean, we get people, many people with advanced degrees, and then we have some with barely a high school education. So it's really more about their interest and their commitment to older adults.
Do you deal with any legal issues? If people have legal issues, are you someone to turn to?
You know, we don't, within the scope of the work that we do, provide any kind of legal guidance. So typically what we will do if someone comes with a legal issue is we refer them out. Often it's to legal services for seniors or the lawyer referral service, but that is not within the scope of what we currently do.
Okay. Now, and again, one of the things I also need to stress is this is both in English and in Spanish, so people can feel comfortable.
Absolutely. It's in English and Spanish. We have, I would say, close to half of our staff are bilingual in Spanish and English. And we have volunteers also that are English, Spanish speaking, and even other languages. But of course, in Monterey County, Spanish is the primary alternate language. So, and our materials, this card you referred to, is in English and Spanish on the other side. And all the material that we pass out or use is usually in Spanish and English both.
And again, so you've been, how many years did you say?
I've been with the Alliance on Aging.
And you're the executive director.
I'm the executive director, yes. And I've been here about 14 years, but I've been in the senior world for almost 25 years. I was with the Ombudsman program when it was a freestanding program before it was part of the Alliance on Aging.
And what changes have you seen over the time?
Well, I've seen a lot more people getting older. The demographic is shifting. I think it was 5 years ago, the first set of boomers arrived on the scene and turned 65. So it's just been, you know, a lot more people. It seems like our clients' cases are more complicated than ever. Lots of issues around families, family dynamics. Maybe the biggest is the financial challenges that seniors are facing. So many of them are living longer than they expected. They're outliving their resources. It's just expensive to get old, especially in Monterey County.
You know, do you counsel on money management? Do you counsel? What else goes on?
So the other thing that we do kind of around financial relief are we have an outreach program, and so we go out to the community throughout Monterey County to lots of different venues to let people know about what resources are available, not just Alliance on Aging, but the whole spectrum of senior services, many of which programs provide financial relief. So we have a benefits checkup program. And what we do with that is we help people look at the variety of benefits that they may be entitled to, that they don't know about, that they can possibly get linked into. So what we do is really try to find financial relief for them as much as we can, either in the programs that we provide or directing them to those that do. You know, even the tax program, if you look at those refunds as a financial benefit, because it is for some of them the largest amount of money that they're going to get throughout the year, short of their Social Security check.
So let's talk, just to reiterate, you're a nonprofit.
Yes.
You're responsible for raising your own funds to keep this rolling in a very competitive, tough environment here.
Yes.
How do people donate? And I want you to kind of give me a pitch for our audience why they should help and how to help. And
well, yes. Well, thanks for that opportunity,
Yes.
because that's huge. It's the only way that we can continue
Exactly.
to do what we do. We get between 50 and 60% of our dollars are public dollars, but in no case does that completely cover the cost of service. So we have to reach out to the community and ask them to be generous to help support all of those programs that we do. We have campaigns throughout the year, a holiday campaign, an annual support campaign. We have fundraisers, which is a fun way of raising money. We have a trashing show actually that's coming up in February. It's in South County, so it's been a great opportunity for us to reach out to the folks down there. And so there's lots of opportunities to give. People can go to our website. They can participate in our, in our fundraisers. We have an AOA news that goes out every month, an electronic newsletter, and another way for them to find out what's going on, keep abreast, and give. And if they're interested, they can send their email address to us, and we can get them on that list. One more thing, Mark, if we've got time.
We've got time.
Okay, we've got a benefit store, Spirals, in Pacific Grove, which we opened about 6 years ago. It's a lovely store. It's a resale store. It's right downtown at 580 Lighthouse Avenue. And it's a great place to go shop, donate lightly worn clothing and housing things for the house, and also to, what was the other thing I was going to say about it? Oh, consignment. We also do consignment at the store.
So Spirals, and give me the address again.
It is 580 Dickman Avenue, or no, I'm sorry, 580 Lighthouse Avenue in Pacific Grove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love those consignments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have lots of men clothes.
Yeah, I shot at them.
Ties.
So anyway, last word, give out the email address one more time.
Okay.
Or the website.
Our email address is allianceonaging.org, and it's easy to find. Typically the first thing that comes up when you even put Alliance on Aging or Senior Services in Monterey County. So thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. You guys do great work. Please support this, people, and because we're all going to be old, hopefully. So my guest, Teresa Sullivan, Alliance on Aging, and thank you. And you're watching YourTown TV. We'll be back.